Aloha everyone! In this video, we will take a look at a Laulima reference site in Lamakū. Since the course site I am demoing may look different from yours, the purpose of this video is to model the process of walking through a migrated site to identify and understand how certain elements translated from Laulima to Lamakū. This video covers a lot of topics, so I have created timestamps that you can use to navigate through the video when you revisit it. Use the link above this video to open the video in YouTube. You will see the timestamps in the timeline and in the video description area. There is no official guide that details how elements should and will come over from Laulima, and because Laulima and Lamakū are different learning management systems, reference sites may not 100% reflect their Laulima counterpart. That being said, migrated content is still workable when it comes to helping to build your final course site content. Before you work with migrated content, remember to copy the content to a sandbox site and work in a sandbox site. That way, if a whoops occurs, you can have a backup of course content with your reference site. The course I am demoing is the OTE Phase 1 course site, and these are the Laulima elements I will cover: tests and quizzes, assignments, discussions, gradebook, resources, and lessons. At the end of each section, I will include a list of items that I need to further work on as I finalize my course site. This list will also highlight areas you may want to check in your own reference sites. Keep in mind, this is not a comprehensive list of everything that may require attention in a migrated reference site, just a few examples. This is the migrated OTE Phase 1 reference site, and it was migrated in September of 2024. You will notice that reference sites are labeled as such, with titles including Laulima Reference Site. You'll notice from the Visual Table of Contents widget that I have some modules already set up and that there is also a list of announcements. Laulima Tests and Quizzes to Lamakū Quizzes. If you use the Tests and Quizzes tool in Laulima, yes, in general, your quizzes will come over. If you use the Assignments, Tests, and Surveys tool, or the ATS tool, certain questions are supported for migration, including essay, matching, multiple choice, and true-false questions. Questions that are not supported for migration include inline, drop-down, single choice, and Likert scale questions. This is general guidance for the ATS tool, and what actually gets migrated may vary depending on how your ATS questions were set up in Laulima, even if they are listed under questions that are supported for migration. A suggested to-do checklist includes reviewing and test running quizzes and questions that do come over to Lamakū. For everything that does not migrate over, some time will be devoted to building the question library, which is a central repository that stores and archives questions which you can reuse within a course, and question pools, which are collections of questions that can be selected and added to a quiz to give each student a randomized set of questions. Laulima Announcements to Lamakū Announcements. All of the announcements from OTE Phase 1 came over, and I can see a preview of the 5 most recent announcements in the Announcements widget. The maximum number of announcements that are shown, which is 5, can't be changed. If I go to the top of the Announcements widget and select the caret, and then select Go to the Announcements tool, a list of announcements will appear. Just scrolling through everything, I can see that Lamakū retained all the embedded images, hyperlinks, and text styling like bolding and italicizing. Just a note about dates that applies to other elements of your course, such as assignments and discussions. Lamakū does have an option to bulk offset your dates, which will make it easier to select things like release or due dates for a new semester. If I wanted to reuse these announcements, I could add these tasks to my to-do list. Review and update announcement content if I want to reuse anything. Change the start or end dates or publication status to match the needs of an upcoming semester. And add additional elements like replace strings to further personalize announcements. Laulima assignments to Lamakū assignments. Let's navigate to Assignments by selecting the Assignments tab. OTE Phase 1 had 8 assignments and I can see them here, and they did all come over. Let's select the Accessibility assignment to take a closer look. I am going to talk about the things that successfully came over from Laulima first. Assignment title, grade points, and all the dates, including due, start, and end dates, are the same. The dates are important if you are planning to bulk offset dates to create new dates for an upcoming semester. The instructions and styling of assignment instructions are the same as it appears in Laulima, and the assignment attachment also came over. Now let's talk about some things that totally deviate from Laulima. I know later that I will have to attach this assignment to a gradebook item because it currently says the assignment is not in the gradebook. Another thing is that under the Submission and Completion section, the submission type is set to File Submission. In Laulima, the submission setting was set to Inline and Attachments. Unfortunately, Lamakū doesn't have an equivalent to the Inline and Attachments submission option. You can designate file submission or text submission, but there is no option that gives students the freedom to choose from two options. Rubrics are also not linked to assignments, even if they were linked in Laulima. I want to see if the rubrics came over individually. From the lower navigation bar, I'm going to go to More and select Rubrics from the drop-down menu. Grading criteria, achievement levels, points, and level descriptions all came over successfully. The rubric did also add sections called Initial Feedback, where you can write criteria-specific feedback for students. But just because one rubric came over successfully doesn't mean they all did. Looking at the rubric for the Caption Course Welcome video assignment, there are criteria groups that are out of place. We start with criteria 3, then go to criteria 1, then 2. Looking at its Laulima counterpart, the rubric does not use criteria groups, so I am unsure why the Lamakū rubric does. To recap, I need to review and edit assignment content that I want to reuse, make sure assignments are connected to gradebook items. I also need to check the submission type for assignments. And finally, I need to check that my rubrics are linked to assignments. Laulima discussions to Lamakū discussions. I'm going to click on the Discussions tab to access discussions. OTE Phase 1 only had one official discussion forum and topic, which were OTE Phase 1 forum and the Have a Question? Post it here topic. Yes, the structure of forum and topics translated well to Lamakū, but because no one replied to that topic, I can't tell you if replies also come over. Luckily, forums and topics that were also hidden came over, and we can see that their settings and descriptions also came over. You'll notice that topic 1.2, Discussion on Online Course Facilitation, says Must Post First, and that is translated from the Laulima Discussions option, Require users to post before reading. In Laulima, when you create a discussion topic, there is an option to allow email notifications for new messages. However, the option to receive notifications is not included in the forum or topic creation page in Lamakū. In order to receive email notifications about new discussion forum or topic posts, you need to first create a forum or topic, then select the caret next to the forum or topic name and select Subscribe. Another difference we see in the Lamakū discussion settings is the ability to define start and end dates for topics, and that information will be covered in week 3. So on my to-do checklist, I need to review and edit discussion content I want to reuse, subscribe to forums and topics for email notifications, and define start and end dates. Laulima Gradebook to Lamakū Grades. Select the Grades tab and go to Manage Grades. Unfortunately, there's nothing to show here except for a grade category, which is Assignments. When we were looking at the Assignments tool, you may recall that assignments were not connected to the Grades tool. So I will have to establish that connection first in order to see grade items appear here. Because I don't have any quizzes in this course, I wasn't able to tell if quizzes are like assignments in that they also weren't connected to the Grades tool after migrating. So in my to-do list, I know I need to link assessments to the grades, whether it may be assignments, discussions, and/or quizzes. If you set up a weighted grade category in Laulima, you may also need to check those settings in Lamakū. OTE Phase 1 did not use weighted grade options, so I wasn't able to see if that was translated correctly in the migration. Laulima Resources to Lamakū Manage Files. In Laulima, the Resources folder is a tool that stores files, such as PDFs, Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, and more. These files could be added in lessons pages, or if the Resources folder was visible, students could directly access the folder and download files from it. In Lamakū, there is a section in the course administration area called Manage Files. Manage Files is like the Laulima Resources folder in that it holds all files associated with your course. One of the differences between Lamakū Manage Files and the Laulima Resources folder is that the Lamakū Manage Files area cannot be accessed by students. Resources need to be added as quick links or topics in modules for students to access them. Students cannot go into Manage Files and directly download files. In your reference site, you will notice that there is a module called Resources. The Resources module displays all the files from your Laulima Resources folder and reflects the folder structure using submodules. For example, Images appears as a submodule within the Resources module in Lamakū, whereas in Laulima, it was a subfolder within the Resources folder. This module is hidden, meaning students won't be able to see it even though it's listed for you here in the table of contents. Again, this Resources module is not where your resource files are stored. Your files are stored in Course Administration, Manage Files. This module just displays links to your files. Yes, you can unhide it and have it act like the Laulima Resources folder, but this is not the best way to share files with your students and may lead to confusion in the future. We want to establish that modules hold course content and follow a logical structure in teaching topics. Modules are not solely meant for displaying files, which is what the Resources module does. So on my to-do list is to get rid of the Resources module, and I have included written instructions on how to do so below this video. It is important that you do not delete the files, just the module structure. Deleting the files and the module will also delete them in Manage Files, and you will have broken links throughout your course. Laulima Lessons to Lamakū Content. I am currently on the Laulima course site, and the content part was built using the Lessons tool. There are 8 total lesson pages. I am selecting the lessons page titled Unit 1 Online Education Fundamentals. This lessons page uses a variety of content elements, including subpages, a checklist, and a custom style element like this yellow box that has been coded in. Let's see how this lessons page looks in Lamakū. In Lamakū, we can see that these lessons pages have been converted into 8 modules, which is the same number of lessons pages in Laulima. we're going to click into the corresponding module, Online Education Fundamentals. There are similarities between the structure of the Laulima Lessons page and Lamakū module. There are submodules that correspond to the number of Laulima subpages. Unfortunately, the item description for the subpages did not come over, which includes the amount of time a participant is expected to spend reviewing the subpage content or submodule content. The text and image content of a lessons page is consolidated into one web page. Lamakū default text and colors were applied to text content, and luckily, the text retained its heading structure. Text stylization was also retained, including hyperlinks. The image came over as well, and if I use the accessibility checker in the Brightspace editor, I don't get too many errors. And it's good that the checker didn't highlight headings and alternative text as being a problem, so these features and content structure must have come over from Laulima. The custom yellow box did not come over, but Lamakū still maintained the spacing and indent structure of the box. One thing that is missing is the checklist box. If we navigate back out to the module page, you'll see that the checklist has been turned into its own topic. This is because Lamakū checklists can't be embedded in a web page, like how checklists could exist alongside other content in Laulima. Some things I know I want to change. I want to reduce some of the spacing between the pictures and text. Even though one web page passed the accessibility check, I still want to check other web pages for accessibility issues. In week 2, you will learn about applying campus document templates to web pages. If you want to apply your campus document templates, you will need to copy and paste content from migrated pages onto those templates, because when you apply a template to a page, the process wipes out all of the content. So if I want to apply campus templates, I need to think about copying and pasting course content into pages with campus document templates. Mahalo for watching this video. Although I did walk away with a list of things I need to fix, I am happy with the things that did translate well in the migration. I am definitely not starting from scratch, and my course content, structure, and tool settings for the most part remain intact. Because this example course does not have everything a course could possibly have, the OTE facilitators invite you to share your migration experience in this week's discussion activity. This way, OTE participants can learn from each other's experiences and discover ways to build courses from migrated content. Again, thank you for sticking with me through this video.